Oh, of course it doesn't do the fate. Jesus. Every time, man. Every time. I try, folks. I try, but my tool set is limited. Welcome to the final hour of the 20th Anniversary Celebration Kickstarter. Wow, you guys have blown us away. Pretty amazing. Just under 3,000 backers, just under $300,000 going in the last few minutes. That's pretty amazing, folks. We are super excited that you guys have shown so much love to what really was, a small offering for players. Like, hey guys, here's a player's book, and we'll do another couple of cool stuff with it. And you guys have picked up the player's book and run with it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll pull up the campaign page and give it a look. But
and I think we have some new players out there. That's what's really exciting, right? Like, yay, new players. Boy, have we got some stuff to show you.
Yeah. So super exciting. So just in case you are just tuning in, we have a Kickstarter. It is 56 minutes to go. You definitely want to get in for a pledge because we've got some campaign exclusive pricing on some really cool items. So let's run through. The big news is that there is a new player's book. The player's book is soft cover. It is just $20. The pledge is $25, and you get a whole bunch of stuff for that extra $5 on that pledge. But we're bringing out, there's 5 variant covers, some really great art. You can see the covers, kind of the background here with the brand new, never before seen art. Fresh for this campaign is an Aaron J. Riley piece with this awesome undead dragon and Red and Gabe going down to confront it. It's pretty awesome. So those 5 covers are only guaranteed during the campaign. We're going to print just enough to fulfill backers and a little bit more. And then at some point, we'll show off what our continuing players cover is going to be. But there's 5 variant soft covers, 160 pages, basically has everything from the core Suede book that you need as a player. So the regular Savage Worlds version is well over 200, I think with 240 pages. So we trim out some of the Game Master only stuff and offer a player's book. And that's hopefully good enough for you consummate all the time Game Masters to buy a couple to give to your players so they don't steal your hardcovers. If you are a Game Master, the cool thing that we're offering in this campaign, and let's see, I think one of the updates will get a better picture of it, but we are offering a commemorative 5th printing 20th anniversary, here it is, hardback Suede. It comes with gold gilt edges, gold foil stamping on the front with embossing and debossing and ribbons. So that'll be a very luxe kind of fun item to have if you are the Game Master and want to have the most updated version of Suede. That is on offer for the campaign. There is a pledge level with just that. And then some other cool stuff in case you missed it. The accessories box, if you are just joining us and you guys are missed out on the original Suede campaign, we had an essentials box with that campaign. We don't offer that anymore. It's long out of print. But the accessories box is now the newer, much cheaper version. It is just $25 during this campaign. That price will not last. So if you want bennies and cards and just all the cool things you need, the campaign, we've unlocked card stands. There are 4 extra card stands that now come with the accessories box. But that is now a beast of a offering.
And the idea is like Savage Worlds is just more fun with stuff. Right? Like when you're throwing bennies around on the table and you've got all these things. And when we first did Suede, it's like, oh, it's a big box that's got all the books and all of the stuff. And then it was like, a lot of people now already have the books. And the question was, well, how do they get the stuff that improves that experience? It's like, well, how about let's pull that stuff out, put it in a smaller box so you can get multiple ones, and bring that extra excitement to your table.
Right, and it's just $25. There's a brand new dice set in there. There's an action deck. There are bennies, the card stands. There's the templates, all the little tokens, and there's a empty box. And why would you want an empty box? Donald and Daryl put together some really cool stretch goals we unlocked. What can we put in those boxes, guys?
Well, so there's the hundreds of edge cards that have been unlocked for all of the print tiers.
Perhaps more edge cards than we originally calculated.
Yeah, perhaps we forgot about all of the arcane backgrounds in the back of the Fantasy Companion and all of the edges that they had. But yeah, so we've got, let me grab mine. we did these originally for Deadlands, and we love them, and people loved them. And then we have another set that's coming out for Necessary Evil, and then the card box in this campaign is functionally identical to this one, right? It's a magnetic flap, so it's got a very satisfying action. It's nice and thick, and then you've got, I did the thing that you're not supposed to do. I didn't let my ribbon sit on top of the cards the last time I pulled it out. But so it's got this nice ribbon to make it, what's the angle? Oh, to make it nice and easy to pull out your cards, which will be especially useful because, so this box is sized for our 3.5 by 5-inch archetype cards. It's also what all of the edge cards are sized in. And it also fits the card sleeves that we've unlocked. So if you have an archetype card that you're using at a lot of cons, for example, you can throw that in a sleeve, you can throw that in the card box, hand that out, have it so it's all stored in one place, and you're definitely going to need it because it's very, very snug. It's a nice, tight, it's a very satisfying fit. It's not one of those boxes where there's a lot of rattle. I know some people like rattle. I hate rattle in my boxes. I like it when it feels nice and solid. So this is the form factor for the card box, as well as all the print pledge tiers get the player's box. So the card box is going to come to you like this. It's empty. It's so that way if you have existing card sets that either they came shrink wrapped like we do with some of the smaller archetype sets, or if they were in a box that got damaged or old, or you just want to upgrade it because you're carrying your cards around a bunch, you can get the empty card box for that. But we also have the player's box, which is a pack of accessories for... Basically, the best way to put it is we asked each other what are the things that we would like to have in a box if we're playing in a game, and we put those things in a box. So it's got a wet dry erase card for your advances. So if you're using an archetype card, you can write down the advances you take and then grab the edge cards and put those in the player's box. It's got status cards, so you've got an extra set for players' statuses, right? So it's the 5 statuses that I as a player am going to get most of the time. There's a fold-out combat options sheet, so because everybody loves the reference charts, so we made it fit in the card box. And then also the player's journal, which is just for notes and quotes and different things, really whatever you want to write in it. And then that card stand, which you can write your character name on the front so people can look and see, oh, yeah, that's your character name. And then you can either put some character art from your archetype card on the front of it, or when you're in initiative, put your initiative card so it's easier for the GM to see.
Yeah, because the origin of all this was, like many things, right? It's just us playing, right?
Yeah.
We're getting together like at a house and playing games. And we've now got these card boxes. And what we found ourselves using them for was not the original purpose, which was like, oh man, I'm playing an archetype. I'm throwing the archetype card in there. And I've got my pawn that matches the archetype. I'm going to throw that in the box too. And hey, like I always use like different dice for every game because I'm a nerd like that. I'm going to throw those in the box. And now I've got like a box with my stuff that's going to and from the game. And then pretty soon you're like, ooh, and I've got some powers. Let me throw the power cards in there. Ooh, and I got an advance. Let me put just an index card with what my advance is and throw it in there. We're doing this more and more. And we're like, wait, is this a product? I think this is actually something other people should have, right? And there it is. You know.
Yeah. So great comment. So Venko mentioned, so the between when we started the campaign and now, we've actually been able to open up pre-orders for the 5th printing of Suede. So it's not a 5th edition, guys. So if you're unfamiliar with industry lingo, each time any kind of major update happens to a book or even minor update, and it is not exactly the same as a prior printing. It's called a 2nd, 3rd, 4th printing. The 5th printing is the most current version of Suede. No one has it in print yet. It is coming fresh from the printer. The celebratory 20th anniversary print will be the 5th printing. But if you're just backing to get the most updated version of Suede, you can get in a little bit earlier on our website. The Savage Worlds core book in print, it will be 5th printing, and it won't have the gold gilting and the embossing. It'll look just kind of like the first 4 printings, but it will have ribbons. So that's a nice new upgrade. But if you are in just for the 5th printing, that's an easier way to get that faster. But of course, that doesn't come with all the fun stretch goals. So I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that update. And then another good question. Oh, go ahead, Daryl.
Well, I was just going to throw in there, and if anyone's interested in what tweaks happen between 4th printing and 5th printing, the update doc on the website is now organized by printing. So you can see like, hey, here's this change on this page. We changed that on the 2nd printing. So like, oh, I've got, and you can look in the front and it'll say, if nothing, that's 1st printing, 2nd printing, 3rd printing, 4th printing, 5th printing. And you can look and be like, this tweak is different between 3rd printing and 4th printing. Got it. Now I know what the difference is. And it's okay if you don't look or care. It doesn't break the game. It's all right.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing about Savage Worlds too. Is I know folks are, some folks wish we would use a numbered edition, so like some other systems do. I think the difference is that unlike the numbered editions, which almost everybody else who does numbered editions, they have paradigm shifts between numbered editions. They are not the same game. They don't translate. They're wholly separate, development teams and ideologies. Savage Worlds is really kind of a evolutionary versus revolutionary advancement between it. It is in a lot of ways the very same game that Clint and Shane came up with 20 years ago. So that's kind of why I know it's a little confusing for the new folks, but it really is. Almost all of our material is easy to convert to the newest rules, and because of that, it's kind of why we don't do the numbering, because there isn't a very hard break even from the very first material that was printed for Savage Worlds. So. But Adventure Edition is the current edition of the rules. There are no plans for an additional edition coming out anytime soon. We're really going around and supporting all of the settings and developing new settings for Sway, because it's really the game we like to play and the game that we play test every week. So until we get tired of it and need big fixes and that, we don't see that happening anytime soon, because it's gotten pretty good, I think. So.
I will also point out real quick, just for folks with the PDF, we're doing a shift in the way we do our PDF numbering as well. So now it's going to match up with the printing, right? So I think previously, before the 5th printing, the Suede PDF was on version 6.
Yeah,
and now it's back to version 5, because that way it matches the 5th printing. So if you have a physical book, you can look, it's the 5th printing that matches this PDF. And it'll, once we get past, that's like really the only hiccup is actually Suede,
right?
Because everything else tends to be, it had one printing and that's it. So you're versioning the before the decimal point is what printing it is, and then after the decimal point is every change between printings.
Yeah, one other reason to get in on the Kickstarter is only folks who back during the Kickstarter will get all of their PDFs delivered at DriveThruRPG and PegInk.com. So folks who like to do the dual libraries, that's a great reason to back during the campaign. So hopefully, even if you're just in for a pledge for $1 right now, and we open it up in the Pledge Manager, we do need to see you as a backer to be able to give you those rewards. So that's a really, really good idea. And the before we get to some of the add-ons and our fun stuff, let's bring in Chris and Tracy. Chris, you're wearing a kind of a cool shirt. Where what's that from? And where can we see you next with those initiatives?
I made this shirt for me so I can wear it to conventions and show off my favorite system. I will wear this at Gen Con in a week and a half.
Nice.
And again at Gamehole Con. And which actually ties into why I bought this Max Pledge here for all these player books, as I play at conventions all the time and I need something to hand out. And this is all going to go together.
Good stuff. So give us the origin of the Savage Crew is with RenCon, and you've been running some amazing multiple table group events there. Tell us about that kind of initiative.
Well, we used to run other systems, and they had these big multi-table events, and it was always the biggest crowd at the play. Everybody came and there was, what's that commotion over there? And we were like, we can do that. We can be loud people having fun. And that's what we did, is we designed, we always cap at 4, but actually we might have to change that because this last RenCon had enough people for more than 4 tables. So I'll say 4 to 10 tables as this grows. People playing all together, NPCs running from table to table, players going from table to table. We're kind of still we're messing with the format to find out what actually works well. But these are big events. I mean, they're real big draws, and then they've come to be much like the other events were, where they're the big thing in the room. And I think at RenCon, it probably was the biggest game, RPG game at least, that was there for sure.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna do one at Gamehole Con too. That'll be a horror one. And then after that, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're a hit, so we squeeze them in as much as we can.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And Tracy, tell us what's the image behind you on your background? For folks
this is from Holler. This is one of the half pagers in the Holler book. That's the Holy Roller back there, and her snakes that she's charming over here. And so I just wanted to represent with stuff that I've worked on for Savage Worlds as part of the anniversary.
Yeah. So explain Holler. The folks who haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's super unique setting, and that's kind of one of the big things that all the new players that we're welcoming in this year to Savage Worlds. It's not only great for fantasy, and there's plenty of opportunity for that. We've got. I'll have Donald show you the big box of goods that we've got for our Pathfinder crossover, as well as people are getting shipped right now. The Fantasy Companion. But what is Holler? I mean, I think it's a super unique property. So give people a little background.
Yeah, so Holler is an Appalachian apocalypse, right? So and it was written by Tim Early, who is awesome and an Appalachian scholar and stuff. And he wrote this system and game in which you are sort of trapped in the Holler, which is the Appalachian region, basically, of the United States, but in a fantasy kind of world. So we're stuck in the 1920s when a lot of the railroad companies and mining companies were doing their exploitative practices with real people and real history. But then adding on top, those now have been sort of translated into the big boys, who are the main villains of the Holler. They come from the city, and the city is outside of the Holler. The Holler is actually the big city. Well, it's just I think it's just the city, but yeah. So the Holler is actually physically enclosed, meaning that people can't leave there physically. Only the big boys know the ways in and out. And so they're not only sort of conscripted to be there and work for the big boys industry economically, as the sort of the real world people in the Appalachian region were, but also physically they just can't leave. But the whole point is sort of an uprising against the big boys, sort of building coalitions and actually playing these characters who inhabit the Appalachian mythos. So you're playing real people. And I mean, as best you can, people who have 3 dimensions, and you're meeting with people with 3 dimensions, and you're trying to find a way to get rid of the big boys, maybe make life a little bit better. It's definitely a horror setting because not only is the industry there, but the blight is there, which is sort of this mixture of the pollution of the industry with the magical stuff that's sort of keeping everybody in the Holler, and the cryptids and the haints and all the critters and all that sort of mythology of the Appalachian region is all there and real in the Holler. So you could meet Sally Toadstool, or meet a sheep squatch, or meet a pumpkinhead demon, or whatever else.
Watch out for the Mothman.
Yeah, the Mothman is out there, right? And so it's all intertangled into a weave of really beautiful writing and a beautiful setting and an exciting plot point campaign. I think one of the best ones that I've ever seen. I've run it once and played it once, and I loved it every second of it. And so we're very proud of it. And so I just did some development work, and Tim did most of the hard stuff.
There was a great comment on Reddit that came in last night on a thread that someone mentioned the Holler on, and the comment was, "I'm sorry, is this the Battle of Blair Mountain with cryptids? You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention."
It absolutely is the Battle of Blair Mountain with cryptids.
So I mean, this one's close and dear to me. So Holler comes in this amazing leatherette special edition. It's got the end papers, show you a map of the Holler. There are ribbons. There's a cool little owl, which is like Tim Early, little nod to Tim Early, cool owl logo, which is also the logo that shows up on the special wild die. And then the conviction tokens are these super nice, thick, really cool metal conviction tokens that come in their own like canvas bag. That's pretty awesome. So
I will admit I've been using those conviction tokens for like every single game.
right? That's just too cool.
They're just really good.
It's another thing you can stick in the player's box because you can't. It's hard to keep track of conviction, right? Because it goes from session to session, so people will hold on to it for a while. And if you just have a player's box to stick your conviction token, and then you know you've got it every time you open up for a new session. I think that's really cool.
So Valentine, I want to go back to you because we don't have JM here. So I'm gonna have you because you've basically built the thing. Tell us, what is Savage Universe?
Oh, Savage Universe. That's a great place for the swag and ace creators, displaying all the stuff that's second party license and fan creation. We got the calendar on there, playlists. We got news articles. We try to keep it updated, adding content all the time. JM's always adding new different podcasts or video playlists or whatever. So if you keep an eye on that, there's always going to be new stuff. I'm assuming we'll be heavily involved with Swag Timber once that comes around. Maybe even have a special page for that or something. But it's super cool site. Runs nice and smooth. And I don't know who built that, but it looks pretty nice.
Right? It's super cool. It automatically pulls feeds. Really awesome work. So I think so for folks who are new and just folks who are on the community. The third-party developers are really important to us. Those are the folks who are not Pinnacle staff, who aren't writing for Pinnacle properties, and a lot of them are. People like Tracy. I'm going to go back to Tracy in a second to tell us about Han Cluster because that'll be an ACE licensee offering. But if you want to get involved with Savage Worlds more than just meeting us at cons or running or playing, and you actually want to use our rule system to produce content, welcome to the family. We call everybody wildcards. And because if you know our system, wildcards designate either player characters who are special. All player characters are wildcards, but even some of the villains that are special get wildcard status. And so joining the wildcard family, you can do that. Swag. So there's a fan license, or if it's just something small, you don't want to get paid for, you're just kind of putting something up for the community. The fan license is where to start. And these are all described under Savage Universe. You can go to savageuniverse.com and get involved in the corner and kind of read what these different licenses are. But the fan is super simple. If you're not charging money and it's something kind of smaller, great, do it as a fan license. If you are charging and you want to get involved, the swag program is the Savage Worlds Adventurers Guild. You basically publish through Drive-Thru-RPG under Pinnacle, and you can join the community there. We try to do streams every Thursday where we highlight creators who are aces in swag, and the swag program is a great way to test your toes out with Savage Worlds and getting published. And we've had swag creators who have gone gold, electrum, platinum, not adamantium yet, but it's only a very small number, like less than 0.25%, I think, products on Drive-Thru-RPG even get there. I think Pinnacle's got 2, like Suede and Deluxe were adamantium. So I mean that's astronomical success for a publisher to get noticed and to see your creations come to life. And so we recognize those with swag awards every year. In February, there's a cool initiative called Fast Furious February. And then Swag Timber is a big bundle for swag creators that kind of join in and you get a really good discount. So check out, that's a great way to join our community.
Yeah, and the whole idea with Savage Universe is it's not just a information gathering place for people to find each other and find these things, but it's also like if you are interested in doing this, we'll try and teach you everything that we know about how to do it or help you do it better, because we want our community to have that kind of extra support.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm throwing up the link right now. SavageUniverse.com. Get involved is the link. You can see it from the top, which is on the main page. And once you want to go into actually publishing real books and going and getting a print run and doing all that great stuff, or if you've got cool initiatives like Savage.us is an awesome initiative. It is a character sheet creator and character generator that is a really wonderful third-party tool. Or you want to make Savage Worlds dice trays or backpacks or stuff and sell them on your site. You can become an ace. And Tracy, who has worked with us, has got an awesome ace product coming up, hopefully in the new year. So why don't you give us a little fill on us in what's what is coming up with Han Cluster, Tracy?
So Han Cluster I'm working on is my new sci-fi setting. I've sort of talked about it before, sort of an optimistic human future. But optimism does not mean lack of conflict, right? So I'm starting to think of it as sort of a sci-fi Dune meets Ted Lasso kind of thing. Because Ted Lasso is a beautiful show where it's very affirming of humanity, and yet there is no lack of conflict in that show. There's plenty of conflict to go around, and that's what I kind of want for the Han Cluster. I want an optimistic idea of a place I want to live in, but still also plenty of things for people to do, the PCs to do as heroes, right? And anyway, the idea is sort of a transhumanism kind of meets. There's some arcane backgrounds where you've got some transhuman abilities. There's some setting rules that gives everybody transhuman abilities, and they're pretty cool. Where you basically are able to communicate with each other no matter where you are. And at the table, that means, of course, you can communicate with each other at the table and not feel left out of a scene, even though your character might be on a different planet. Right. So there's a lot of depth to it. Yes. That's Val is right there. And I've been working on it and writing it. And I just ran one of the plot points from the plot point campaign for a group of people online here to test it out, make sure it's okay. And it worked really well. So everything's going pretty well. I still have that sort of questioning my own life choices when I'm working on it. But I think that's true of any writer, right? So next year is the hope. At this point, there's some stuff I'm waiting on. One is the sci-fi companion to sort of flesh out some of the rules that we're going to have going forward with Suede.
Way to throw me under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm making some suggestions, and everybody's going to ignore them, and I'm going to do them anyway in Han Cluster. But also, I'm waiting on some art. So I'm still working on it. It's still coming. I do have a website, hancluster.com, where you can go see what it's all about. And then otherwise, I'm running at conventions, and I'm running it online occasionally. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. That is fantastic. So yeah, we really want to welcome all the folks to the Savage Worlds community. It is so great. Eddie, you've driven us out of print on our core book twice this year, which is a little embarrassing because we never want to be out of print, right? This is it's a good problem to have, but we have definitely we've had to call up our printer and be like, when could you get us a new shipment? Because we did an emergency shipment at the beginning of the year, right after a certain kerfuffle, and you put us out of print, and we thought we ordered enough to keep us through this Kickstarter, and no, apparently we didn't. So we love the fact that there are so many new players, and this Kickstarter is a really great way of getting folks in for just $20. Some of the old timers remember the halcyon days when there was a $10 Savage Worlds book. I mean, that's how I got into Savage Worlds. A friend, bought a bunch of those for us, and it's like, hey guys, I know you love GURPS, but check this out. And
and that's what the players' books are kind of a throwback to, right? And why it's like, hey, look, you can get 5. Like, because you're probably, if you're like me, you're gonna do that. You're gonna be like, look, here, have one, new player. Just now,
right?
First it's free.
Right? So they're obviously, with decades behind us and inflation and printing crises, we can't really do a $10 book anymore. But the $20 players book is just really kind of our homage to that. And so Vankel asks a good question. He's saying, how will the players books PDF be different than the core PDF? So the players PDF, it does come with all the variant covers. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to buy the PDF multiple times or anything like that. So you get all the variant covers, so you can see the cool art, and you can pick which one you want to use on your tablet. But the player's book is 160 pages. It doesn't have the Game Master only stuff. It is very similar for the content it does have to the Game Master section, except in areas where there's like players' descriptions of what the players do during some of the modular add-ons like Master.
Well, there's no new text in the player's book. It is literally all selective text being ripped out from the regular edition. So if you got the regular edition, like, you're good. You don't need anything different for players. And then vice versa for players. Like, if you want to see, hey, there's a couple of new examples in here, or I'm looking at, I do want to try and run, there's a few things that you need to know that aren't going to be covered in the player's book.
Right, exactly. Another really good question talking about power cards. So here's the one caveat on power cards. We have had some update to a handful of the powers, and so we are trying to figure out the optimal time to release either an add-on bundle that'll replace the cards in the current power card decks with the ones that are updated. But I think we want to just make sure that any changes we do to like a companion that hasn't been released yet are also included in that before we do it. So we don't want to do that in staggered. So there are not updated power cards yet, although in Suede 5.0, which is the brand new one, the PDFs, if you already have Suede, your PDFs are updated. So you can go to peginc.com or to DriveThruRPG and download those. The powers in there will be updated. But for the power cards, we're waiting on that update and whether we're going to just release a new card set or release an add-on card set, whatever that is. I think we want to make sure that we're going to do that once. So,
However, you got two options. Well, there's two things to know. One, we are going to be updating the PDFs of the power cards. Those are laid out as such that you could go and print them at home, or if you want a little bit thicker paper, go and print them at like an Office Max or print shop. And because if you're getting a print pledge from the new campaign, then you're getting a pack of 60 card sleeves for free. And then you can add on more if you want. There's a lot of cards in the pack, so depending on how vigorous you are with your sleeving, you might need some more. But what you can do is you can print out the changed cards, lay them over the old version of the cards to give them a more firm backing inside one of the sleeves, and that'll cover you until we are at a point where we're doing something to kind of alleviate that burden on the print side. So the PDFs will be updated, and there are some relatively low difficulty solutions you can do to take your current card set and make them up to date. But like Daryl said, there's nothing in these updates that are necessary. Right? Like at the end of the day, you probably don't play the game 100% by the rules anyway. We certainly don't.
we joke, right? Like you're going to use 30% of what's in this book, right? Your 30% may vary, but I mean, it's there if you want it, but at the same token, it's not going to kill you if you're a little out of date. But just as long as everyone at your table agrees to be the same, then you're okay.
Right. Yes, exactly. Christian asked you about the epic modifiers. So yeah, and another thing for Christian too. There might be an update for our VTT platforms that'll help you out on a certain question you had.
Yes, and these are all questions that we have to answer and are not going to be fast and easy answers, which is why we're like, not yet on the power cards. Like we got to think about this. Like we got to figure out the best way to handle it.
Oh, thanks for the raid, Other Doc. Appreciate it. So folks that are just joining us, we're celebrating the final hour of the 20th anniversary Kickstarter. There was a great question before. Let me go back and find it. Country Gaming of North Dakota. If you can't get in for just $1, you can lock in Kickstarter exclusive pricing on anything. So if you between now and maybe 5 months from now, I think it's kind of our earliest. I think we'll be closing that. If you back for $1, you can get into our pledge manager and lock in. There's a couple of things that we're sure are going to go up in price, like the backpack. If you're not in for the backpack, not a big worry. But that accessories box at $25 is a great steal. So if you do eventually want to get the stuff, try doing for $1, and just so you can join our pledge manager easier and unlock all those things. So that's another good question that we should answer now. We are using pledgemanager.com for the pledge manager for this campaign. Valentine up there. Let's see, is it that way? That way. There we go.
It's different for every way, man.
Right, where are the Brady boys? Is everybody? The Valentine's hard at work. We are going to at some point roll out our Game Changer 2.0 with a lot of feature requests and kind of back end stuff and front end stuff. That's going to be great. We really appreciate you guys supporting our Game Changers. It was a great initial run, and we finally stretched it as far as it could go using the platform we have, and so we're like, hey, we need to upgrade this and do some better stuff with it. So we are not going to stress our Game Changers, because we've got maybe 4 or 5 already still kind of held up in various stages of printing and delivery. So we're like, let's make sure we can clear the queue of those on a successful manner, and then we'll kind of
and they're all at the printers now. So
It's so nice. It's so nice.
yeah,
For
we
folks
did
that are
our
waiting,
job. Now we
right?
gotta wait for the boats to get to catch up.
You know, and Fantasy Companion's been going out for I think 3 weeks now, and it's still going out. Hopefully, the bulk of that will be done before Gen Con. Studio 2's making a really big push, but they are like everybody else in the industry suffering the effects of having to staffing and all that kind of stuff. So it's
literally when the last one goes out the door, the first Maw starts leaving.
right. Oh, I know. Ma is in the warehouse ready. It's just waiting. Ma, right?
Just stacked up behind the other one. Like, all right, as soon as that last one goes out.
Right, and we didn't plan to have all these things having to go out and shipping right in the middle of con season, where Studio 2 also brings dozens of publishers' books to these big conventions like Origins and PAX and Gamma and Gen Con next week. And so it's we didn't plan it that way, folks, but we appreciate the patience of everybody who's gotten their notice that their shipping label's been printed but doesn't have their book yet. They are on the way.
Our callback to Beyond Thunderdome plan. There ain't no plan. It got here on a boat. We're sending it out.
Exactly.
It's the next one.
But yeah, so we are super excited you guys are getting Fantasy Companion. And hello, Hannibal wants to say hello. Hello, hi. Okay, get that, buddy.
Well, and while you're struggling with that, maybe while we were talking about the pledge manager, just so to set expectations when we close, right? There's a kind of like a week or two, sometimes 3, where things are quiet because we need to get the data from Kickstarter. They've got to process everyone's orders, charge for them, give people time to resolve credit card issues, stuff like that. So, like, even though we've kind of got this stuff and it's ready, we can't do anything about it until we get that package. So, like, we just want to let everyone know there is going to be that automatic dead zone going from Kickstarter to Pledge Manager because you can't avoid it. Physically, you can't avoid it. And I don't know that, like, the Pledge Manager is going to be open quite as long as you guys think, personally.
Well, that's the great thing, right? The thing that surprised us about this campaign is we're always looking, like when we do a hauler or another Deadlands release, looking to bring in new players with a lot of new content releases. And the biggest offering in this campaign is our core book trimmed down for a player size, right? So it's all stuff if you are a consummate game master you've seen before, and then accessories that obviously for folks who missed out on the first Kickstarter, 5 years ago, 2018, 2017, end of 2017, somewhere in there. But basically it's like, hey, we've been long sold out of these boxes. We need to bring them back. And so for not having a ton of new content, this also means that this is a slightly easier Kickstarter for us to get to the printer and get things created and done.
It might already be at the printer,
right? Just because we don't have to do the community feedback phase, which we love that phase, right? That is very helpful for us to work out some kinks, to have you guys play test stuff, but we don't need it because we've got fifth printing 5.0.
It's the fifth printing, right? Yeah, like, this is not a new book.
Yeah. So the right.
Well,
so
Christian, for that side-by-side comparison, if you look at the update document on Suede, because in Fantasy Companion, there's a symbol for every power that says, by the way, this text supersedes what's in Suede, right? Now, Suede has caught up to that and said, okay, so anything that's a fifth printing change to the powers is exactly those changes that we made in Fantasy Companion. So
nice.
Comparison already done. We had to do it, and it was terrible. We hated it.
But now it's over, and we can recover.
Right. But it's better. It makes a better game, and that's why we do everything that we do. It's like, oh, yep, this is a little harder, but this works a little bit better. Like that 1% that makes the difference. And that's why if you do want the update, that's why, right? It is a little bit better.
Right, just Ted. The Graham's got a great question on the backpack. So we've got pictures on an update post on the Kickstarter that shows kind of, I think there were like 4 or 5 of the hardcover books that are in the backpack on that picture.
Yeah.
Jody and Clint have the actual sample with them. the Pathfinder box is huge. I don't know.
Yeah, the Pathfinder box is like 5 suedes, and I think the bag holds about 4 suedes comfortably.
So yeah, if you don't want to, you might dent your corners. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know. We'll ask Clint. Like, hey, Clint, can you shove a whole box of the Pathfinder?
Now, I'm going to say something that might be a little outrageous, but I don't. If you've got the bag, why are you bringing the box? Just take the stuff out of the box.
Yeah,
Right,
it will
that's
fit the
true.
contents of the box. Yes.
Yeah.
It will
That, no
definitely
problem.
Fit all the contents that you need to bring if you want to keep your box nice and shelf happy. And then the Flash Gordon box that I think is probably easy enough to fit in there.
Yeah, Grum was saying that he's got both on his shelves because I only have the one, so and they're about the same size. But I thought it was a little bit less. But it's 4 copies of Suede. If you can compare your copy of Suede to anything else you have, that's the best way to figure it out right now.
Well, he did specify with the Moons of Mongo, which is essentially a second, slightly smaller box. So
It'll definitely fit the Moon's Mongo box by itself.
Yeah, that is
For
true.
sure.
Which means it'll fit most of our pawn sets with space
right.
to spare.
Right, and the Essentials box. If you got the Essentials box, those are fantastic. Just a lot of stuff in there that's just hard to source for us again. So the accessories box, very similar to the Essentials box, but like instead of having the acrylic templates, we put them on our nice kind of rag board, punch board, kind of same thing we do with the pawns. I think the one thing, from the Essentials box that you might want to pick up separately is those the stands, the card stands. And not sure if we'll be able to offer that as a standalone yet, but they definitely come with the players' boxes.
yeah, other than the one that comes with a player's box.
Yeah.
So each player can have their own that way, and you can get a couple of extras with the accessories.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
Great question. So the add-ons. So there's 3 things that are only add-ons that don't come with any of the pledges. And let's see if I can't bring up I think I did pick. Here we go. So the add-ons, Kickstarter exclusive pricing. So definitely get your dollar in. The $85 shoulder bag, that I think is going to go up to $100 after the campaign if you're a late backer. So that dollar gets you in. $85 shoulder bag. It is the Equilibrium USG XL size. It is a satchel size bag, and it comes with a free skin or included skin, which has got Savage Worlds branding on it. And then if you want to bring all the skins that the players books have, you can do a $50 skin pack. Each of those, I believe, after the campaign on Equilibrium site will be probably $20 a piece. Plus shipping and dealing with them. So that's a great deal off if you want to get all those. You can kind of swap those out and brand yourself with the awesome geisha picture, the Oni one, the motorcycle bike, the supers, and then the really, really cool, although it's hidden back here, variant cover with the Dracolich, which is pretty awesome. And then the tray of holding. Folding, yes. They have another one that's a tray of holding, which is, oh my God, here it is. It is the super big box. Oh, I'm covering myself with the comments.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't know what you're,
But this one is awesome because it folds down flat for shipping. So that is like an unbelievable price on that. Great deal. So those are the 3 that no matter what your pledge is, those are optional add-ons. So if you want to bring those home,
so it turns out we just love magnets, right? Like the magnet on the card box is awesome, and it's the same with this. Like I've got dice trays and they usually snap, but magnets make everything better.
Right? It does. Let's see. Any other good questions? We've got
the other thing I'll say about the Equilibrium bags is, it looks like you take these things through a war zone, right? They are very robust.
They are kind of cool.
If you look at all of the on Equilibrium's site, the product description for the Heat bag, it's they use the best kind of zippers, they use the most durable materials, right? And so it'll survive lugging your books around to a lot of conventions.
Donald, since I know you, I'm going to make you put you through, but I think you glued it to your shelf. But
So this is not glued to the shelf. Just
no.
my copy of Holler is glued to it because it does not fall over.
And Don has cats.
So this is what I've gone through to not have to, because the rest of these are all attached to the wall. There's a little baseboard. But this,
so on the back of that box, right, we get the actual. It's just there we go. So this is the Origins Award-winning Pathfinder for Savage Worlds core box. It has got so much good stuff in it. There's an action deck, there's power cards, there's a chase deck, there's a GM screen and adventure, there's archetypes, bennies, power dials, there's a guide to Corvosa, there's the core book and a bestiary and or bestiary, depending on which line of that Civil War you fall on. So that's why you can kind of kill somebody with that book, because it's a lot of stuff all in there.
It's more like Thor's hammer, where you just set it on their chest and then they can't get up.
Right?
I've not been exercising much lately, and I was hoping you'd talk faster.
God, no one has ever demanded me to talk faster. Everyone's like, slow down, Landau, you talk too fast. So the cool
faster,
thing about
more
that
intensity.
Right. In addition to that box set, there's a whole other box set that came out that's got that's this box set, which is the Rise of the Rune Lord. There we go, right side up. The Rise of the Rune Lords box set, which has the
lost Chris.
Wrong thing. So mine has ETU glued to it, and the postcards and the archetype cards. So
that's funny. I just kicked myself out of my own.
A little harder for me to show off.
Gonna crash? Yeah.
But I can hold this one up because it's only got some things glued to it.
Right. So the Rise of the Rune Lords, they come in each of the books. There's, I think, is it six?
6 books.
6 books. They each come in soft cover. This is book 1. Gorgeous art inside. Paizo did an amazing job, and then our team did a great job using all that. It's got the selective varnishing, so you can kind of see that like the goblins are shiny with that spot UV. So you can run Rise of the Rune Lords box set, which is amazing. So folks that are, if you enjoyed that campaign, and we've also come out with a subsequent campaign, the Curse of the Crimson Throne, which should be arriving into our warehouse shortly, not too far out.
It's on a boat.
Deliver that campaign. That's super exciting. And so that is just part of, and then again, the fantasy companion. I don't even have my fantasy companion copy yet. So that is also, if you want to do fantasy with Savage Worlds, you can use the core book. You can get our companion, which kind of really broadens the scope of the things you can do with fantasy. That's things already done for you. Or if you love Galarian, but you want to play in a Fast and Furious Benny fueled version of the rules, pick up Savage Pathfinder. So let's see.
Or if
Great
you're a
question.
Savage GM trying to convert your table from other fantasy games to Savage Worlds, you can ease them in.
So, Country Gaming, check back on the earlier part of the stream. Tracy did a whole explanation of that awesome art back there. It's Holler, and so she gave a great explanation of what's going on with Holler at the beginning of the stream. So check the on-demand on YouTube. Once this video is done, you can just rewind it, and you'll get all the cool information on that. And yes, Donald does kind of need to build a cage for the cat.
Well, I was saying it's the shaking that's the problem. So it would all just fall and press against the inside of the cage if I built a cage around it.
Oh, it's true. It's true. The right. So we're down to 10 minutes. Oh, this is hot. So yeah,
10 minute countdown.
8 minutes.
Right? 8 minutes. That's great. So the
Actually, 9.
let me find that comment again. Let's see.
I just gotta say, Twitch has got some weird auto mod. Erica said she's a snake handling wielder of the faith, and I had to add permitted term. She's a snake handling. Is that a thing? Is that does that mean something I don't think it means?
Depends on how dirty your mind is.
Fine. What are you talking about, Twitch? It's good. No, we are really excited, folks. I mean, I show you the back end on the site that shows you the kind of the ramp up, and these last 3 days have been immense. I think 2 days ago the total was with like 224,000, and now we are knocking on the door of 300,000, which is just that's a super sprint to the finish. The conversion rate is really fantastic. And, I'll just say this, because I'm trying to pull the link again for folks who are just joining us. Very good reason to get in on the campaign, even for $1. There's the link. It's in the chat again. Basically,
10
folks,
minutes ago.
right? The if you want to lock in the price for the accessories box. Not sure where it's going to be yet in the campaign. It'd be great if we can keep it at $25 during the campaign in the pledge manager, but it definitely will not be $25 at retail. So that's one that you will not find at your store for that price, or even close to it. There's a whole lot of stuff in there.
We'll literally be running numbers in that week before we get our kickstarting stuff to be like, all right, where does this have to be so that we aren't going out of business doing it.
Right.
25 is below that number. So
we are giving it away during the campaign. And I mean, plus there's all the awesome add-ons that have been unlocked. The backpack, again, will be up to $100 post campaign. So those are two things that are definitely going up. The good thing that is staying, though, is the players' books will be $20 now and forever. So that is an awesome. So if you're
forever is a big word.
Well, until we run out.
When it's 4,000 douche marks to $1, like, well,
right, that's true. When our economy eventually crashes and hyperinflation exists, maybe you will not be $20 anymore. But hopefully you're not using it to boil your canned beans for TP at that point. But right, yeah, we appreciate you guys for recognizing that the products are great. I do. Simon can't join us; he's feeling a little under the weather today. But it really is a testament to, I think, when you compare Pinnacle products to other books in this day and age, whether it's RPG books or not, the fact that Simon makes a really good job of finding a way to keep the saddle stitched bound hardcover books that are the highest quality that we can find as a printer at reasonable prices. Just looking at that Holler special edition, I mean, that's a special book. It is just fantastic. Those kind of things are really very nice books, right? Adding the ribbons, adding the gilt edges is kind of an awesome thing on top of that. But we've had periods in our company history where companies suppliers changed how they did gluing and binding, and some of the pages would come out, and that's not acceptable to us. So the fact that we're still able to keep this really high quality when I think other folks have post-pandemic turned to a different strategy, we have not. And we thank you for your patience on that, because we've even gone to campaigns and said, listen, the card quality that we have come to expect for our cards, our current supplier is out of stock, and we have to wait for several months to get those in. Sorry for the delay, but we don't want to deliver a subpar product on time versus the product you paid for and came to expect when we could deliver it. So similar issue. We found out that we love our bennies. Our bennies are a thing that are not something we want to skimp on. They are an integral part of our campaign, and we're having some interesting things. I'm sourcing those for some of the outstanding campaigns. So we'll have more information on that going forward when we actually have a really good answer on how we're going to solve that issue. But those are just things where I really appreciate that you guys have come with us and allowed us to keep the quality high and not made the other choice. The other choice might make a lot of people happier to get stuff, and right, Simon does deserve credit, but we will never tell him, because his ego will be too big and he will rip off his other bicep, flex it. Anyways, we've got a couple minutes left, so let's pull up the Kickstarter. Let me go out of the back end window so we can see the cool front of the campaign, and we'll get to see the confetti, that's really cool. That's Kickstarter.
That's what you guys came here for, was a party, right? It's
right,
not a party without confetti.
And then after the campaign's done, we've got a bunch of people's testimonials that we'd love to run through just to kind of celebrate your awesome memories from Savage Worlds. So, wow, 3 minutes left to go. Let's do this.
Right. And the main thing is the thank you to everybody that showed up for this. Like, so many people did, and that always blows us away. Look at that. Almost 3,000 people. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. You came.
I know you guys came to our party. You like us.
And it's also a testament that a substantive portion, right, are brand new to Kickstarter. I think 5% of the backers are all brand new to Kickstarter. So it's definitely a good feeling to be able to welcome so many new people into the community, and
especially because yeah, that was the idea behind this one. Is it is really supposed to be that introduction for a new player coming in. Like this is a good place to jump on board.
Great. The yep, ribbons are awesome. So 2 minutes. Oh, it's so close. The
Ribbons and magnets, everyone. Like,
It's what we make.
we're like cats. Like ribbons and magnets and a little wand, and we are satisfied. Yeah, a little catnip and dangle in front of us, and we're good to go.
Speaking of- and in the bennies, they've got like the little metal insert in the middle, so they do stick to magnets.
They do.
Try it.
Right, they're magic degenerates. They're magic. We don't know how they work. Yes, bennies. 117 seconds. Oh my God, they're getting a seconds countdown now. This is look of all the updates that Kickstarter could do. They are giving a second countdown. I love it.
This is also the first Kickstarter campaign I've helped run that my mother is watching the play-by-play and messaging me as the number goes up.
So, welcome to my world. My mom totally does that. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, check it out, new update." And I'm like, "All right, thanks. Like, I don't have to check it now. This is great."
Right. So just as we've got less than a minute left, so folks. It'll be at least a day or two before we've got the link to our pledge manager. It will be pledgemanager.com, but we have to make sure that's set up correctly before we start linking to that. So give us at least 24, 48, maybe the Monday. We'll see. Folks are getting prepared to go to Gen Con. Then
and for those of us that aren't, we're exhausted.
That's true. Some of us do need sleep. Give us 60 seconds left. Oh, red. Oh, it turns red. Oh, look at this.
That's new, isn't it?
That's new.
That's new.
The second countdown isn't new.
Did they spring for the good confetti? We'll see.
Yeah. And just remember that it takes that extra gap of time for the stuff from Kickstarter to transfer over to Pledge Manager. So even while it might be set up, that will be for non-Kickstarter backers, to join in after the fact.
Right. Oh my God, 30 seconds is so great. So give us about more backers come in. Give us about 3 weeks, I think, before Kickstarter gives us the numbers and make sure everything clears, and we will then open up the pledge manager after that date. It'll be very quick for folks who need to get their files because the files are done, folks. Daryl went through and made sure all the cards. 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, there we go.
Confetti fireworks. Now it's a party.
Oh, it's so nice.
We should really start buying like party poppers and shipping them to everybody for the end of the campaign.
Right? Yeah, we need more budget. We need special effects budget.
Yeah, we'll note that on things to say no to for the next meeting, Don. Let's ship some fireworks out. What could possibly go wrong?
So
we live in Arizona.
We do. So I know what could possibly go wrong.
That's true, yes. The Cursed Gig. So there's 2 big things that are in the works. No promises on when or what platforms. But I think it's safe to say that the Mike Barbeau's Doom Guard is nearing completion.
And we're all excited about.
Super amazing campaign. It builds on anyone who backed the Supers campaign got a preview of Doom Guard in that campaign with some adventures. It is a labor of love, like 6 years in the making that Mike has been working on. And we've got like final prototypes coming in soon. And once we get those out to reviewers, we'll start setting the timeline for that campaign. And
we'll also notice, real quick, I want to say in Necessary Evil 3, there's a crossover with Doomguard. Like some of the heroes from the board game, as villains in Necessary Evil, you end up fighting them in Necessary Evil 3 because it's a crossover. You got to fight.
Right? It's so good. It is so good. And Doomguard is like Supers meets the Chthonic horrors. You can go try to kill Cthulhu, see if you can do it with superpowers. And it's pretty amazing. And the board game is really, really fun. So that'll be awesome.
The other thing on the horizon is going to be a big fistful of Deadlands.
So much Deadlands. So much Deadlands
coming.
Yeah. So
for those that follow such things, Night Train. I'll whisper in a menacing voice.
That's
John Goff, Night Train.
And not just that. So yeah, I mean, we've had John Goff on recently. Shane's been on recently. Brian has been on. Brian right here has been on recently talking about these projects that are coming up. So
Abominable Northwest. We've got Shane's Night of the Wendigo adventure that's been murdering the hell out of me and Tracy. I love it. Oh, it's been murdering you too, hasn't it?
Murdering Val, yeah.
Yeah, Valentine.
Yeah. I've survived so far.
Me too, although I have been bleeding out twice.
You know what, though? I've survived and not taken a single wound so far.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
but
now, there are mitigating circumstances.
Yeah,
I had every bone in my body broken, and it took me weeks to naturally heal.
Sure.
Yeah, there was a BOD. That's a little hint in that adventure Shane's running. A big old deal. Not that, but something like that. And how did you survive that, Tracy? I'm just not even taking a...
There was various things going on. One was Simon's harrowed character. That.
Oh, you just sent Simon in. Okay, good. You shut the door behind him. Good. Awesome.
I got distracted by that, but then I actually was very useful at the end of that.
Oh yeah, no.
And then we ran from one of the, dramatic tasks because I had a good reason. I just played it smart, and by smart I mean like I shot what I could shoot and let the magic users do the hard stuff.
Yeah, I'm the magic user doing the hard stuff.
That's
so I
right.
spend a lot of time napping in the dirt with blood coming out of.
But it was a lot of luck. Like I just haven't. I mean, it's not for a lack of trying. Shane is trying, but I've managed.
Yeah, Simon keeps reporting that all these groups keep dying playing his adventure, and then Shane's just so tickled pink by it. He's like, "This is not a problem I need to fix, guys."
I agree. I'm delighted. It's super fun. Yeah.
It is super fun. It's difficult but fun. That's part of the. That's the way Deadlands should be, right?
And so it doesn't get lost in the confetti. Thank you, everybody who backed, everyone who's part of this. Like, you guys really brought it. You guys made this happen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we super appreciate it. And then Grom had a great comment. I think Shane would make Savage Sundar in a second. So, right?
I was going to keep my mouth shut.
he would do it if that opportunity came. So if someone can, get Hanna-Barbera to be like, yeah, we actually want to make these available for RPGs. Totally. And Savage Worlds would be the best system for that. Let's just be honest. So
I am going to keep my mouth shut.
Right, or just play riffs with the little changes. Right, awesome. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Let's go in. Let me open up these. You guys shared a bunch of awesome stories with us. So let me
testimonials. Yeah,
we've got. Yeah, let's go through these because I think
I read a bunch from the community on.
Awesome. I will run through ours and the. Amy, our VTT lead, does not get her praises considered enough. She's an amazing person.
True.
It's very.
Now that they've become so successful, they're practically their own company, so we don't see them here as much.
Yeah, Hi, Amy.
Yeah.
It is amazing just seeing. We hit so much above our weight when it comes to VTT.
Because of Amy and her crew.
Right.
Yeah.
It is not a secret to us, but maybe to you guys that on the various VTT platforms, Amy's team puts out more VTT content than the platforms do natively themselves. Like that is how awesome she and her team are. So when you guys we appreciate your patience on getting that out. Like there is nothing that we have made from Suede onward that will not eventually come to a VTT platform, or hopefully the plans are for it. So if you're asking, will something come to VTT? The answer is almost for surely. If it's Suede, the answer is yes. And then some of the VTT programs like Fantasy Grounds, which they did their own. They went back and did Rewards 1 all on their own and converted to Suede. It's like crazy. That's awesome. But so thanks, Amy, for sharing your memories for Savage Worlds. Brian, buddy, he's in the chat.
He's in the chat.
Part of keeping our Deadlands. We know what pays the bills, and Deadlands is the answer to that question. And Brian it's in its capable hands. So thank you, Brian. I got to work with Brian on Buccaneer, and I'm going to take credit for when we had an edit opening for an editor. I'm like, hey, Shane, Brian's got some availability. Maybe you should call him. And so glad you're with us now, full time, buddy. You're doing great work. So thank you for sharing yours. Chris V, he's the guy right above me who is now becoming
Who are these
more
people?
dispensable for our Savage Universe, for Rebuilding Game Changer, for we've got a cool thing that I don't want to spoil, but like the obvious next step for welcoming so many new game masters and players into the community is giving you guys an easier way to find and run Savage Worlds games online. And we are developing a platform for you to do that and get paid for it, or not even taking a cut, just so we can keep the awesome Savage community spirit alive and well. And
But you don't want to spoil it?
I'm just going to second. We're doing. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to tell you about that, but by the way.
But by the way, that's a little pet project of mine and Val's that you know, and the company that I'm super excited to see come to fruition, because it's just great that, you know, putting together kind of these virtual events. Like, why can't we do this all year round? So, Daryl, buddy, you've been with us, you know, and officially, is it a year now? Have we made a year?
I think it's not quite a year. It's a little over. It's a year now. Yeah,
in spirit, much longer. But I like the direction of the company. It's amazing. You know, just the aggressive schedule we've had this last year, wouldn't have been able to do it without you and Donald working together. So
we almost died doing it, and we realized, okay, that's too much. So anyone that's worried about, oh my God, I can't keep up, that's okay. Neither can we. We're going to slow it down a little bit. You know, we still want to serve our stories, but we also don't want to kill ourselves and you guys doing it. So we've got ideas for how to make that happen.
We're continually blessed to have more things to work on than we have time to do them.
Yeah.
Right, that is true. And Jody can't be on stream because she's actually currently liaising with Paizo, because there is stuff on the horizon for all the things we're doing with them. So that Mike Barbeau really hit it out of the park, and they noticed, and they had some great things to say to him at the last Gen Con. And since Gen Con's coming up, we're kind of just doing a little pre-Gen Con powwow with them. And logistics does not even begin to describe all the things that Jody does for us. She's wonderful and amazing. So thank you, Jody, for you know, keeping the lights on at Pinnacle for all of us. The great little thing from Mike M, Game Master. We'll clear the screen, but let's see, Donald. While you're pulling up the community, I got several more from our community. Let's see. Anything we need to tell folks about the campaign, pledge manager? Anything we missed? Anything you can think of?
No, I think we're all good. Like we said, it'll take about 3 weeks for Kickstarter to get us the list, and in that time, we'll be working on getting the pledge manager up and running. Be on the lookout. We do look at, and you know, when folks are saying, "Oh, I'd love to see this in the pledge manager, I'd love to see this," we do listen to that stuff, and that helps guide us on what do we put into the pledge manager itself. But it's also, you know, the more stuff you put in, we've only got so many hours of the day, so expect to see bundles for all of our major settings, as well as the companions, and you know, everything from Rifts to Pathfinder to Fantasy Companion to Supers. Don't expect anything that is currently in a crowdfunding stage. So, you know, things like Curse of the Crimson Throne and whatnot, right? It can get a little... It's very complicated when you try and cross multiple crowdfunding streams. And that's something we're comfortable doing with Game Changer, but with the Pledge Manager, we're going to stick to stuff that we know is going to be ready when this campaign is ready to fulfill.
Right. We had a message there from Scott. So Scott Woodard, genius behind Pine Box Middle School, the Flash Gordon conversion. He's also he pens most of our news stories and our newsletter. And looking at our Kickstarter, you know, we threw some advertising money behind this Kickstarter, and it turned out great. But it turns out that our most even with all that, our most reliable way of reaching you guys is our newsletter. So if you are not signed up, that is the place. Weekly updates on Tuesday. We put at the bottom campaign updates for all of our outstanding crowdfunding campaigns. But Scott is also really good at writing very interesting dynamic stories, so we appreciate him. Shane is his, and then Simon, under the weather, but we love you, Simon.
I just want to extra shout out to our two GMs that we flew past there. Like, I hadn't actually seen those testimonials yet, and those were really good. Really
yeah,
beautiful.
we're gonna
Thank you,
get
guys.
those up on the campaign, kind of with our future updates. We're gonna keep posting these. It felt a little weird putting these in our updates. So like, oh well, we'll wait till the campaign's done and we'll highlight these. And someone named Tracy, don't know who, has got this awesome one. So we appreciate.
Oh, we need a scrapbook with all of this stuff.
Right, it is good stuff. So yeah, those are the ones that we've got from the staff. Any that you've got, Donald? Do you want to share?
You know what? I think we're gonna have multiple instances where we're gonna want to talk to folks about what's going on in the campaign and streams in the future. And I think I actually, Daryl's saying his scrapbook idea. I've got an idea or two that maybe I can work out so that we could kind of have a big sharing thing. So I think let's leave those for now.
Okay, cool.
So that way folks can get on with their days.
Awesome, great. So we appreciate it, folks. This is an amazing Kickstarter. Give us the weekend, and we'll get you. We'll put out the thank you once we've got a link for folks to get to. The rest of the information we need to get to. So we're thanking you now on stream, and we'll let the Kickstarter cool off, because man, it was a blistering. I don't even want to look at the number for the last like 40
You guys
It was crazy.
brought it. Yeah.
It was crazy. So thank you for like the $300,000 campaign. Amazing. 3,000 backers is even more great for us, because I think Suede itself was like a 5,200 backer campaign. So that is amazing that so many folks can kind of return for material. At least 5,000 of you, more like 30,000 already have. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Really, really, guys. Yeah, Brian, thanks to our fans. You make it easy to put in the amount of work that everybody does put in. So also big thanks to our customer service gals, Christine and Sarah. And they handle it when we mess up. They're the ones who face the brunt of it.
Oh, and we do mess up.
Just a little bit. And they do so with poise and grace, and very, very, between Shane being a total sucker and people pleaser and their expert hand, if you don't walk away happy, it'll be the odd case out, because we really do want everyone to enjoy our game, enjoy our community. So everybody who couldn't join us today, who's off otherwise working, Shane, Simon, and Jody, and Clint, love you guys. They put in a lot of work too. Big news. I don't want to list that. Clint is going to be running a live stream game at Gen Con on, I think it's Friday. So I don't want to.
It is. It's Friday night. Friday night.
It's the big deal game on Friday night. It'll be on Gen Con streaming. We will definitely get that out in the next newsletter, so you guys can watch that. But otherwise, thanks for coming on this journey with us. It's been a great campaign, and we will see you guys maybe next week. On
more to come.
On some more getting creative. There we go. It's Friday night, 7 to 11 p.m. Great, one of the great game masters, one of the great systems at the biggest convention in the world for gaming. Or maybe
on a lovely table.
Right. Let's not forget that's the other thing too. Is that Eastern, Clint? Because John Doom lives in one of those weird places where he has to change.
It's in whatever
probably
time
local,
zone Gen
probably
Con is
Indianapolis, so it's probably Central.
I think they're Eastern though. No, I think Indy has gone Eastern. Let's Google.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. It's whatever Indianapolis's time is. It's
I kind of remember it's Eastern. They're in Eastern Daylight Time, so
whatever that translates to you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be Arctigator versus Crocostrucosaurus, and I've played one of the Arctigator games before. They are fantastic, and the cool thing is, so Pinnacle will not have a booth at Gen Con. Studio 2 is the booth to go to. They have a whole aisle. If you want to pick up Savage Worlds merch, Studio 2 is where to go for that. And then the Carolina Game Tables has a huge, twice the size you've ever seen it booth at this Gen Con. Stop by, say hi. If they're busy, don't hover too long, but do give hugs and say hi to Jody and Clint. Because
some of us, like me and Tracy and Val, might be hovering between those two places.
Right.
Look for us.
All right, yeah. So her, him, him. They'll be there. So I think the Savage Worlds games like all sold out because that's just the way it is. And if you can't make Gen Con, make some room for Gamehole Con. That's going to be the everybody in the kitchen sink except maybe me holding down the fort here. I'll see if I can make it, but I haven't bought my tickets yet. But yeah, that'll be a great time for a lot of.
Wait, we have to buy tickets? Oh crap!
Oops! Sorry guys, we forgot. Maybe not go. But yes, yeah. Gamehole Con is going to be a great time. So, folks, we're gonna let you go. We really appreciate you. The Brian is they're still great available games. And I think Gamehole Con is dangerously close to being 100 Savage Worlds games. So that is a feat that only the Rocky Mountain Savages have pulled off. I mean, I think we only pulled it off one other time in history. So if we get to 100 games, Gamehole Con, that'll be an awesome thing. And yeah, definitely go check out the Carolina game tables at Gen Con.
And if you want to play Holler, I got 5 spots left in my Holler games at Gamehole Con.
Oh, there we go.
If you're going to Gamehole Con, play in Donald's Holler game. It's really good. Really good. I really loved it.
Right, and Valentine is running a multi-table event there too. There's an awesome panel. So yeah, guys, come join us at Gamehole Con. You got some time to grab those tickets. Get to Madison, Wisconsin, for some cheese and some awesome Savage Worlds. So
I had a friend who was nearly crushed by a cheese wheel there. Real story.
That is a good way to die. You look at me and say he died by carbohydrates, but if I could die by just large amounts of cheese, that would be.
No, it was like a 2-ton cheese wheel. It fell off a truck and was rolling down a hill, and it nearly ran over his car and crushed him.
Okay, so Val and I now have a suicide pact that we are going to end up. Anyways, folks, get out and play some Savage Worlds this weekend. It's a great game. Thank you for joining our community. The wild cards are stronger every day because of your enthusiasm. I love the fact that they Reddit. If there's ever a Reddit thread and someone's like, "Is there a game system that should be used for?" and you fill in the blank, Savage Worlds is always the first or second recommendation. So we appreciate you seeing your enthusiasm and your evangelism for the game system. We appreciate it. So Alan has brought back. So anyways, folks, we appreciate you. We are thrilled with how many of you have shown us the love on the Kickstarter. And yeah, we will be back again next week with some Savage Universe. And then we're going to do some Getting Creative. And then other than that, play some Savage Universe this weekend, have some fun. And we'll show off some more testimonials, like the one from Erica. She has a great one that she wrote up on the campaign. So anyways, folks, we'll see you. Play some Savage Worlds. Take it easy. Love you, actually. Cheers, folks.